Welcome back to another week of Six Man, another week of NBA action. So we're now in week 3, as Alex said, we're in Allen Iverson week. And the question I want to ask everyone is: we've had a couple games. Each teams have played about how many? About 10 games, max 10 games. I want to ask you guys. So we've got Jordan here, we've got House of 03, and we've got Salt Bray. Which team are not what their record says? Salt Bray, kick us off. What do you think?
So I just looking through the standings. I'm going to start positive. I'm looking at the East, and I see Milwaukee down in 10th position at 4-4, and Atlanta down in 11th position at 4-4. These aren't 500 teams. They're way better than that. And I thought it was quite funny as well. In one of the post-game press conferences, Giannis is out here like, "Oh, I thought we were tanking." He's all last. He knows they're not a 500 team. These are two teams with playoff experience. They're deep. They've got absolute stars on there, and I think we're just going to see them shoot straight up those standings. They're currently sat behind the Hornets and the Cavs. It just doesn't really make sense. It's too early. So those guys I think are going to be really good. But in the East below them, I think that could stay kind of similar down there. And then if I had to pick one team from the West, it's the Kings. They ain't that good. They're not a 500 team. I'm sorry.
You're a hater.
They're a fringe play-in team, which is like 38 wins tops. They're not that good.
Is it you that's got Tyrese Halliburton in their fancy lineup?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you little pagan. Classic. Okay, I'll get to the East a little bit later. Jordan, any thoughts? Which record are you sort of suspicious of that isn't exactly what their team suggests?
Yeah, like Bray said, looking at the Eastern standings, you have to say the Bucks and the Hawks, especially considering how well they performed, including the playoffs from last season as well. That's a massive shocker as well. But for me in the East, I would have to pick the Celtics as well. Going down there, I expected them to be a little bit higher than what they were. But Marcus Smart said in that recent interview, it's just getting that chemistry and working together between them and getting that ball movement, which I think will help out a lot there. And then West side. I would say West side for me. Clippers, you expect to be there. We all know about the Kawhi Leonard injury. Surprisingly, Paul George still lighting it up, but Clippers
leading league in scoring, as we found out.
Huh?
Leading scoring, as we found out. Oh, actually, is that
exactly.
Before or after?
Yeah, exactly. So from West side, from what you hear from the Paul George stats, and then you see where they are, I would have to say that's a little bit surprising with me, even with Kawhi Leonard's injury out there, which kind of puts it down.
Yeah, they're an experienced team. I do agree with you on the Clippers. I think they probably can be a bit better than their position shows at the moment. But there are a lot of really good teams. I disagree with the Celtics though. I think the Celtics are a bad team. Their defense is just terrible. They can't stop anyone. Did you see what I'm being a homer, but did you see what the Bulls did to them?
So
the collapse. I mean,
I'm sorry, but Bray, you must be so happy with the Bulls, man.
I'm loving it.
It's so entertaining to watch. I'm even crying as well when I'm seeing them.
Jordan is an honorary ball. He's more of an honorary ball than Bray is, to be fair.
Stop it.
So I'm glad you brought up the Boston Chicago game, because it wasn't going to fit into any of the other segments, but you brought it up, so we're going to talk. I was watching it because I was watching most of the game, and then I didn't watch the last bit of it because I was watching the Orlando game, and then I was watching the Bulls play. It's so fun. I love the way they move the ball around. I love the little bit of ISO ball play that they have. I love that they throw to Vooch at the post. You have all these different elements of a game, which is so fun to watch. And then they got also lockdown defenders who pester you, really get into your face, but not in a dickhead way, in a really just solid defensive way. I love all the little elements they got in their game. And I was watching the Celtics. Obviously, Celtics are my team, so I tried to watch the teams that I do have. And watching first 3 quarters, because that's the only bit I watched, because obviously then I watched the Orlando game. Watching Jaylen Brown and Tatum go off, it's just a a sight to behold. They are amazing shot makers. And watching that game, I was thinking to myself, wow, is Brown better than Tatum? Because it may just been the games that I happen to watch, but Brown just shows up. And again, it may just be the games that I watch, and all the other games Tatum might be doing better. And then I was trying to compare their games whilst watching the game, and I was like, oh, they don't really do much distribution. They don't really pass the ball around much. That's something I generally just noticed watching. It's like, because I was trying to compare their games, like rebounding, like defensive, all that sort of stuff. And I was watching their offensive output. I was like, amazing shot makers, but there's not that much ball movement going on. But again, the shots were falling down. And I went to bed with a 20-point lead. And I thought, that's fine. I got to win, whatever. I woke up. I'm like, what happened there? But credit to the Bulls. That was just a really fun game to watch. I'm not sure if you watched the whole game, but that was just really fun to watch, back and forth. Great shot makers. There was a little Jaylen Brown, and there was a couple of sessions Jaylen Brown and Ball went at each other, which was really fun. But yeah, that's my two.
Yeah, so I only managed to catch the highlights, but you're right. You're absolutely right. The shot making from Brown and Tatum is incredible. I kind of like Jaylen Brown's really good. Damn. And so that obviously is one. The Bulls have made this habit as well of just going down big when their shots aren't falling, but they make this insane comeback. They basically realize, oh God, only 2 people are scoring. So, we should probably adjust our defense. They love to get out and run. That bench unit is just all hustle and running. That's how they get all of their points. And a really nice defensive wrinkle as well. Because we don't really have many wing stoppers, Lonzo is so big, he'll guard the opposing wing, which is really, really cool. And from a cross match perspective as well. And then obviously when Caruso's in the game, he's an absolute dog. But it's so good to see them win games like that, because they just would never have done in previous years. And just having DeRozan as well, who can be all right, you guys want to load up on Levine and you want to single guard me? Great, I'm a bucket every single time. He's done he back-to-back games now. He scored 37 points. Now, granted, they didn't win against the Sixers recently, but I think their record is, in fact, I think it is, okay, they're not, the 75% winning team. They're not going to finish. They probably won't finish top 3, but I think they are definitely a top 6 team in the East. They're going to be, maybe a 600 team when all is said and done, because I really, really like what they've done to start this season.
Also, the Bulls as well. Another thing I was thinking about their offense is that they've got players that can score in each level. They've got players who can score from 3. They've got players who definitely got players who can score in the mid range. Most of the times, it's just. I'm not sure it's just the lazy line of thinking, but it's because of the way defenses work when they've got a 3-point line in the paint. There's all that mid range which is open, which is why you get the CP3 mid range, the shot on the right, which he always hits. You get DeMar DeRozan playing in the mid range. You get Vooch posting up in the mid range where you can get buckets. Well, obviously he hasn't been playing too well to start the year from the games I've seen, but he can still get you a bucket from the mid range on a post up. And you've also got players who can attack the paint. So I love the fact that they can score in so many different ways, and they've got really like what the Bulls are like. Jordan, you're a year too early. Jordan.
I know. I saw it in my mind's eye.
Yeah, you're doing the Doctor
Strange. That's so Raven or the the Doctor Strange. But yeah, I have to agree. Even looking back at them, even though I was a year too early, like you said, bro, they're just so entertaining to watch. And even though I don't have them this year, I'm happy for you. You've gone through that way, and just to their fast break play is absolutely incredible. They just get at it, and that hunger is absolutely insane. The
last thing I'll say on them, you're right, they actually get at it. Didn't know DeRozan could still get up. He's been in the top 10 a few times. He's had a few nice dunks. And the only thing though that you mentioned, Ed, obviously you say they can score from the 3-point line. Now, Zach LaVine is a very good high volume 3-point shooter. But beyond that, it's actually not.
Lonzo and Vooch.
That's a red. But it's a red flag, because they're shooting the lowest number of threes in the league. I think they don't shoot very many. Now, DeRozan barely shoots any, and they Kobe White is the only other high volume 3-point shooter. Vooch isn't going to get up more than about 4 a game, I don't think.
He got up about 6 or 7 in Orlando, just in a game.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, but even so, I think you probably need Zach's going to be shooting probably 10 plus, which is I think probably a good number for him. Lonzo needs to get the numbers up as well, and I think when Kobe White comes back, he needs to have a green light because he's instant offense. So yeah, I think that's the only key for them, because when teams defend them well in transition, I would say they need to kind of make sure they're getting up enough threes. But yeah, that's all I'll say on the Bulls. We've been loving the Bulls too much. No doubt they're probably, after us saying all of this, they'll go on some losing streak now. But
So you mentioned a couple teams in the East. The team I had that felt record didn't reflect the team overall is the Pacers. They are currently 3-6, and of those 6 losses, 3 of them were 1 possession games. So it was a 1 point loss to the Hornets, 1 point loss to the Wizards in overtime, and they also had they also had another 3 point loss game, and another 2 games that they lost were against the Bucks and the Nets. So they have really you're expecting a loss to the Bucks and Nets is whatever, but then you had some really tight games where they could have pulled out a win. Their plus minus is just under 1 at 0 point, just under 0 at 0.3. So they're really close in games. They just can't pull out on the end. They had some injuries with Michael Brogdon being out, and again, Carlisle, he's back at the Pacers. Again, he's just getting used to stuff. Karis LeVert is finally back. So he got a pretty good game. I think it was the other day. He got like 20 points and like 5 assist game or something like that. And he looked pretty good. So I'm hoping this doesn't continue for the Pacers, but I don't think the record is a fair reflection of where they are right now. Hopefully they can put out on next couple weeks, because they went on a really bad losing streak. I think they went like a 5-game losing streak for a little while. Fingers crossed, they do better for my sake.
That's a bit tough for them. But I think the East is pretty stacked. You say that they're losing close games to the Hornets. The Hornets everyone's in that bracket,
Yeah.
and they're going to have to pull out some of those close ones. I don't think they are deep enough in terms of like NBA starter level players. Obviously they've got some nice talent, but I just don't think it goes the distance. TJ Warren's not going to be coming back anytime soon, it seems.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
I was thinking about him in fantasy terms, but I think it could go from bad to worse for them. If they get an injury, that could be basically the season over, because there's a lot of talent in the East and in the league right now.
I was not yesterday, the day before. I was looking at the East standings, and I don't know if it was the bottom 3 or the bottom 4. They were all my teams in the East, and I was like, oh my days, what is going on? I'm just and I just switched off my phone off. I was like, yeah, cool, that's enough internet for one morning. Let me get back to work. But yeah, anyway.
It's still early.
Having said that, I've been the exact opposite reaction. I was there thinking, I bet I'm at the bottom, and then I see Heat right at the top, and I'm like, yes, I'm doing well in the East. I'm comfortable in the East. We won't discuss the West, but the East, I'm happy.
I've only got one team above 500.
Oof, ouch. The Heat have looked really good though, George. You're absolutely right there. Is it real? Maybe. I mean, they've got their differential. So like they allow less than 100 points. There's only one other team in the league who's allowing less than 100 points, and that's the Nuggets. Funnily enough,
Nuggets.
And their score, wow. So strange. And they're scoring 115. So they're almost 17 points. That's their average margin, which is nuts.
Who's got like top 3 average margin?
So
I'm sure you got the numbers there.
The Heat, the Jazz, and the Warriors.
Nice. Good on the Warriors.
So good on they've looked really good to start the season.
Yeah.
I think they might come down to earth a little bit, but because Gary Payton II is great, but I don't know.
Have you heard some of the stats about Gary Payton II? So it's been mentioned on a couple podcasts that I was listening to like over the past week. Gary Payton II had been inserted on the final possession of a game, and it's been like in a clutch time. So like last 30 seconds or something in like a 1 possession game. He's been inserted in the game, I think 4 times. And in all 4 possessions, he's got a steal, or like he's got a strip, or like a deflection. Like, it's like, something amazing like that. I probably but it's something like that. It's like, wow, like Steve Kerr specifically puts him in the fourth quarter for like a defensive possession at the end of the game, and he made a clutch play out of it. I was like, wow. And then he had, did you see the dunk he had the other day as well?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I just thought he was going to stop at one point, but he kept on rising. I'm like, oh shit, he had like another level to go to. And I was like, oh, it was such a satisfying play to watch. Like,
he was so calm with it as well. Just that, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen here.
It just kept on going up. I just thought, okay. Whoa, we got, but oh, we are completely off topic there, but yeah. We were supposed to be talking about random records, man. I'm talking about Gary Trent. Gary Payton the second. Definitely not Gary Trent. Cool. All right.
Okay. Which team is it's not what their record says they are, and I've been dogging this team, and I'm going to dog them some more. It's the Timberwolves. I'm not buying it one bit. They're currently 3-4. They've beaten the Rockets, the Pelicans, and the Bucks. Okay, the Bucks is a good win. But if you look at the Bucks game, the Timberwolves were on fire in the first quarter, and they nearly choked the game because they went scoreless for the final 3 minutes until Anthony Edwards bailed them out with that and one to win the game.
Who bailed them out?
Hey, I like Anthony Edwards' hairstyle this year. Suits him. Keep that. And I won't hate on him too much, but I'm hating on the team. They're on a 3-game losing streak to the Nuggets, Magic, and Clippers against 2 decent teams. They've got the Lakers, Warriors, Clippers, Suns coming up. They're 23rd in offensive rating. They're 27th in turnover percentage and last in defensive rebounds. All in all, this is the closest you're going to be to 500 all season. So funny watching that Bucks game because the score just wasn't changing, and you saw the lead getting closer and closer.
I would say on the other side of that, the Bucks record is not real. They're good. They're gonna start killing teams soon. Like it's not. They're not a 500 team. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, plus minus. It's -1, so it's not the worst. Detroit's the worst at -13. So definitely not Detroit. And we're not going to talk about who's third from bottom. Oh my gosh. Dallas are 25th and Boston are 24th. I've made some dreadful picks. But yeah, Alex, we'll see at the end of the show. I'm just, oh no. Oh, fuck. Right.
It could be a long season for Boston.
We're down there together.
What I'm going to say is the 9th pick won the draft last year. So yeah, all you need to know. Maybe that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for oh no, this is not going to go well.